Hey everybody, this is DW Brown 7680 and Jern 8 from CC. Here recording a video that should go up on Cards Chat and Forceful. Uh, this time we have had Jake record some of his play, and we're going to go back over the hands, find a couple spots to see, the lines that he took and whether or not they were right or if there was something he could have done differently. Hopefully, over the course of this video, we have a bunch of spots to learn from or build upon our game. And yeah, we're just going to kind of take it from here and hopefully watch Jake crush people.
We'll get crushed.
Yeah. And right here off the start, we have an interesting spot. You can go ahead and pause it if you have it. Yeah, start it. Okay. So here in the bottom middle, we have Ace, King, Jack, 9. On an ace queen 5 board with two spades out there, we have top pair, top kicker. We were bet into from a tight player in late position, and we decided to come over the top. Why did you decide to come over the top?
I just thought his bet sizing looked weak on a kind of wettish board. I think he bet bigger.
So you felt like he was just trying to steal here?
Yeah, just like a standard C bet.
Okay.
I had like a blocker to the ace. We have like some kind of backdoor draw, so we can turn like a 10 to the nuts or a diamond for a backdoor flush draw, or I just think he didn't have a strong hand due to his bet sizing. Like I didn't think.
But what do you expect him to be betting here? Like, so you view 40 cents into 80. So you view half pot as weak. So if it had been 50 or 60,
yeah,
you would
I'd
have
just
believed
let
him.
it go. I just think on an ace high wet board that he wasn't that sizing. I mean, it's kind of like minuscule, but I don't know if that's a bet I can tell. But I don't think. I mean, I didn't really like it the way the check raise now, but. At the time,
Yeah, I mean,
was my thought process.
Yeah. So coming over the top of a pretty tight player that has position on us, we're basically hoping that he's going to fold. We don't want this hand to continue.
Yeah.
We want to end it here. I mean, like I said, I don't hate coming over the top here. If you perceived him as weak, but in the long run, against such a tight player, it's not going to be good because most players will just flat you in this position, and there's outside of a non-spade 10, you're going to hate a bunch of turns, and you're going to be left clueless where you'll either bet into him and he'll come over the top, or you'll check and he'll bet, and you're just left clueless. And this just goes back to playing out of position. I like that you wanted to end the hand here because you didn't want to play out of position, but in the future, I would definitely keep in mind.
Yeah, I just think it's not really necessary.
Yeah, with a weak hand that we have, I wouldn't advocate. It's not at this limit, at least, coming over the top here.
Yeah,
but
cool.
Live and learn.
Yeah.
And
let's get to
we're gonna jump ahead here just a little bit.
That wasn't it, was it? It was.
The ace, queen, queen, deuce, we know that we don't want to be opening from the cutoff.
There we go. This was it, wasn't it? The aces.
Yes, ace, ace, 8, deuce here in the bottom middle. We open it, which is standard. These are like mid to weak aces.
Sort of with a dangler but suited to.
Right, yeah, the deuce hurts us, but having the diamonds definitely helps. We get flatted by a guy on the button.
Who's a complete retard playing 60-0, so.
Yeah.
That's not surprising. Can you see bet sizings, or are they a bit?
I can see, yeah, I know, I can see him well enough. If I have a question, or if I can't see him, I'll let you know. Okay, so we get 2 people to the flop. King 5-5, which is a pretty safe board for us in general. We're ahead of here a lot of the time. And you see bet, which is good. The bottom left there, King 8-5-6, I would open that. Just offhandedly, because it would take far worse cards than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so bottom middle, board pairs with a 10. or support pairs with the
Yeah.
king. So now we have king king 5 5. Um, what's your thought? What do you think he has right now? What do you think's going on?
Um, I mean, he can have a whole wide range, but just didn't really see any value in betting. Like he can have a flush draw, yeah,
Okay,
but I don't think he bets a flush draw if check to, because he's not aggressive. His one went or flops 26, and he's a
but
six,
giving
and it's a 60-0,
so
and he could
so
have
given the
kings in his
board,
range. So
yeah, given the board and whatnot, we're okay with giving him a shot at his flush if he has it, because betting here is never going to be good for us.
yeah,
Okay, so you check,
hopefully.
hopefully. You call on the button with King Jack 10 8, which is, yeah, on the button, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not great.
It's not great, but it's not too bad.
What do you think about three betting there?
Uh, it would depend on the player. That guy's playing what, 98?
90-80.
Yeah, oh, 90 80.
Only
I
it's only every
probably,
20 hands though.
yeah, I probably wouldn't three bet there. Flatting definitely though. Yeah, I would flat with the position and everything.
Okay.
We can make him make mistakes a bunch of the time. So back to the hand in the middle. Villain checks the turn. Flush draw misses, but there's still two kings and two fives out there. So
I think I
what's your
should.
thought process?
Yeah, I think I should just check call and see if he's going to bet miss flush draws, but I don't think he would.
I doubt. Well, I mean, he might, but I doubt it.
With such a low went off
So
went.
if yeah, it looks like you're gonna bet. What are you expecting to call you here that you're beating?
Don't know. Nothing. I don't see any point in betting at all.
It looks like you're gonna bet though,
I
so
know.
we'll see.
I hope I don't. I don't want to bet.
Okay, yeah, there you go. You found the check button. Oh well,
No. Wish
found the
told
check
me.
button for a second. Top right,
Yeah, I
you
check.
hit your pivot card on that queen. So you could argue calling here, but the spades definitely deters from doing that. So you could probably release the top right hand. And he had a 5. Yeah. So yeah, you limited your losses there, I'd say.
I was thinking trying to bet him off a five,
Right.
thinking that he didn't bet the turn. He'd probably bet the turn because he plays so straightforward that I could bet him off a five, but I wasn't really sure.
You're not going to bet him off a 5 a lot.
Yeah,
He gets. I mean, he does get a little scared when the king comes because you can very easily have a king. But I think he just goes into check call mode
yeah,
where he's not going to get fancy, but he's not going to go away either.
okay.
You open 8654. From the cutoff, it's kind of iffy. I'd like it more if it was connected completely.
Yeah,
If you had the 7, it's right there on the edge of what's an acceptable rundown to play. Uh,
I just think I thought I
really,
had. I mean,
yeah,
it's not too bad blind v blinds, but
I like it when the low card is a 6 at the lowest. So like I said, this is kind of borderline, but
yeah.
I mean it's not too horrible. So you c bet in the top middle,
And I
and
think I just give up. I hope I just give up. Yeah. He snap checks back, but
so he probably has something like a queen or a draw.
he's queen.
Yep, ace queen. Yep.
I think
Okay, so you decide not to c bet on the queen 10 7 board with your
yeah, three way. I think
rundown.
it's fine.
Okay, so you pretty much give it up on that hand.
Yeah. 53-3 and a 24-0. I don't think I can get anything really.
Yeah, no, I mean you're probably not going to get both of them to fold if you see bet. There's you don't really have any fold equity, and he pots into it after you check, so definitely a good spot to go away.
Hopefully I bump the queen 7 8 9 out. No.
You fold queen 9 8 7 on the button in a
Mm,
limped pot. That's yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah, I definitely would have called there. You don't have to raise it up because it's not the, but I would definitely limp on the button. Just because we're on the button and it's the button and we want to play almost all our hands on the button.
Yeah.
So you open ace, king, king, five. Everybody folds. I guess we'll just kind of
Just watch me
try and, yeah, try
go
and
for a
find a good
fold.
spot here. See if something goes up here. Pause it real quick. So that bottom left.
Yeah.
So you turn jacks. Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and play it. I wanted to see what was going on. So it's a limp pot. You're in the big
Yeah.
blind, and you're gonna lead into it, and you get a call, and lead into it again. Okay.
Wasn't sure if I should bet the river or not.
Okay, so why wouldn't you bet the river? Or explain to me why you wouldn't bet the river.
I'm just not sure what he's calling. Uh,
Okay, so it was a limp pot. It checked on the flop. You bet like half pot, 15 cents or whatever on the turn. He calls.
I mean, he could be.
So I mean, honestly, you're worried about a jack that beats you, and a flush, pretty
Yeah.
much. That's it. Yeah. Uh, so I mean, he very well could have called with a flush on the turn. He could have called with ace jack. But I still think you should be betting here, because you can get value out of any three. You can get value out of worse jacks. You can get value out of queens, kings, aces. And so yeah, lead for half pot, 40 cents or something. If it comes over the top, you can throw it away easy. Because we don't have much committed. But if we can get a little bit of value in there, I would definitely try and throw something out there.
Yeah. What do you think about flatting top left?
I would not flat top left. It's just too low of a rundown.
Yeah. Right. I remember you saying about that.
Yeah, like so when it comes to playing rundowns, I really like the low card to be like the six is really what I want my low card in a rundown to be. So you ended up folding in the bottom left.
Yeah. He pots it, so I thought.
Okay. It's not bad. I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
when you have a small hand, getting away for it cheap it's not a bad thing to do. We don't want to overinflate the pot or get crazy when we don't have a nice hand or a mate hand. So you only had like five big blinds or something committed, I think, in that hand. So there's nothing wrong in folding it there. I definitely would have bet it out though. And I mean, he's either got a flat fold or come over the top. And if he comes over the top, then we can get away.
Right. That's cool.
I would probably have called on the button in the lower left.
Okay.
I would three bet top right from the button.
Yeah.
You
Especially
have
again.
the you have yeah, you have suited kings and they're coordinated enough. There's nothing wrong in flatting. Uh, but especially against a maniac, like against a 92-81, it looks like.
Yeah.
I would three bet there always because he's gonna call with such worse hands and might as well get some money in there and make him pay for it.
What do you think about calling the? I think Queen's is standard right bottom right.
Queen, queen, 10, 9, I would call, yeah, even though we're in the big blind. It's coordinated enough. We don't want to play many hands out of the blinds, but
What the fuck? I thought I was gonna fold. I don't know why I flat here. I think that's terrible. Uh,
okay, so we'll
I don't know.
let's see what the small blind does, and then you can pause it. Okay, now pause it. So we have what we know to be pretty much a loose cannon maniac that fires into us when we have middle set on a two-tone board.
Yeah.
So he's deep stacked. We're both deep stacked. We're fairly deep stacked. Uh, I don't I don't mind you flatting there because you're so deep with it. All three of you are deep, actually. It looks like so. The small blind was too. Uh, Yeah, I actually think the preferred method after you just flat his 3-bet pre, he could have anything. We're gonna be ahead here a lot. We can let him, dangle himself.
Yeah,
Uh, we don't know that he has aces, so uh,
that's
I mean,
true.
flatting there's not bad with somebody left to act. So now that the turn comes, we have an ace, which gives us an inferior boat. We're losing to ace king and ace four now,
Yeah,
but we're ahead of everything else. So
I think with the flop texture, I think we should definitely raise, just because there's so many
uh,
banned turn cards as well.
there are a lot of bad turn cards. And I know I've told you this before. I've been an advocate personally of when I have a set on, if I have middle or top set on a board like that in the top right, where I won't always just 3-bet and try and jam it in. Sometimes I'll take a free card and see, if that flush comes or what that turn brings, and then go ahead and get it in. Obviously, this isn't the greatest of spots now to be getting it in
Yeah,
because the our villain's really not going to stack off with anything less than Ace X. I'd hope, or fours maybe. So
I think my
there
plan.
there
I
would have
think I
been
just
nothing
flat here.
wrong. At this point, I would definitely flat because we're either way ahead or way behind, and there's no reason to overinflate this pot. He's not going to catch up much of the time if he's behind.
Yeah, right.
And we can just, I mean, with his stats, we can let him hang himself a bunch.
Once he
Uh,
checks,
yeah, so I'm interested to see if you bet here, if you check.
I hope I bet. Please bet. I think betting something like two, 2 or 250, something like that.
A small, yeah, like a real small bet, hoping to get a crying call out of him from. So yeah, $1.50, even that works. You'll get a lot of aces to call you. You'll get,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, just about any ace will call you. Maybe 3-5 if he somehow has that.
wouldn't surprise me.
Uh, but yeah, I don't see him coming over the top. I mean, given his stats, I don't see him coming over the top a lot at all. He's gonna want to call you here all the time,
Yeah, he
given that he
calls.
plays 92% of his hand. Didn't actually see what he had, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Okay, so he had threes. He called a pair of threes. All right then. So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I actually think I remember this hand now.
yeah. So you could have raised on the flop. You could have waited for the turn. I mean, given that he's such a loose maniac, you could raise the turn there. You're probably going to get him to go away once you raise if you raise the turn.
I
So
can't
I
believe he
think you played
shows
that hand.
threes.
Yeah, you played that hand fine. Given the maniac enough rope to hang himself with, and then got a nice little value bet in on the river. And like I said, you'll see the more you play that those small bets that are like a fourth of the size of the pot or a fifth or a sixth, that people will call those a lot with marginal holdings, and you just want to use it in spots where you're way ahead and you want to get
Yeah.
some kind of value out of your opponent. See, you didn't even believe that
Yeah,
he
I was
had what he
thinking, I was
had.
just
You
double
had to go
checking,
back and
like,
look.
what?
Yeah. So yeah.
For real?
Let's see what's going on here. Nothing. I'm hoping you folded the 9986 in the top right,
Probably not. It looks too pretty to fold.
but it's not that pretty.
Yeah.
It looks nice, but it's not that nice. And I mean, if you're gonna flop like that, obviously it's nice. But
Yeah. It just
yeah.
looks nicer than it is, eh?
Why didn't you? I'm surprised you didn't open the Ace King 7-8 on
Yeah, that's.
the top.
I should have.
It seems like you're really tight from the button.
Yeah, I did
Wait,
tighten up from the button
yeah,
for this
from
session. I
from the
usually just opened everything, but I just tightened up a little bit from the button, done it?
Yeah, I mean, the button's the one place where you just want to be going nuts with your opens. I mean, definitely be as tight as you want to be from the blinds. Be super tight from the small blind and the big blind, but from the button and then even some in the cutoff, I would be opening like crazy. But definitely the button. So let's see here. We We open ace nine, eight seven, and we're going to end up in a rather big multi-way pot.
Did you prefer
Good. Yeah,
just
yeah.
limping?
I saw you wanted to open that middle one. It's a good fold. You don't want to open that and be out of position. Jack Jack 8-6 and the cutoff is fine to open with four-handed.
Do you prefer a flat or a raise on the 7 8 9 ace?
I honestly probably would prefer the flat just to limp in.
Yeah, just to
Raising's not
keep
bad.
like small connectors in, I think.
Yeah, I mean we have a good chance to make some stuff happen on a flop, but our hand's not that great. Uh, so opening here is not bad. This is definitely given that we're four-way here. I want to see if you see bet.
What do you do on the jacks? I hope I flat, but or
The
it's a bit
jack
unconnected
the Jack Jack 8-6 is that's fine for opening four-handed from the cutoff.
to a three bet though.
Oh, he three bet you to $1.10. I would probably just give it up. You're not gonna hit a bunch.
Yeah.
Like yeah, you're gonna get boards like this, and you're just kind of left in the dark.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think I'm just a bit unaware of like I thought like every free bet is like a
well, yeah,
mandatory
go ahead.
flat,
Real quick.
but
Yeah. So like, and I'll talk about the Jack Jack 8-6 hand, first. Opening with a hand like that's fine. Once we get three bet, we have to start considering what our opponent has and how well we're gonna hit a board. Calling with Jack Jack 8-6, we have the flush draw, but we're not drawing to any sort of nut flush draw.
yeah, it's like a third. No.
So yeah, so we can't really rely on that too much. And then all we really have is either hoping for a 7 9 10 type of board or for a jack to hit. And that's not going to happen a bunch of the time. So it's kind of like set mining and hold'em if you wanted to try and equate it. It's basically the same. Where would you call a three bet with sixes? If you open sixes from the cutoff and the big blind three bet you, how often are you going to call with sixes to the big blind's three bet?
Right, that's cool. Yeah.
So I mean that's probably the closest equivalent I could give you between Hold'em and Omaha. I mean, with the right opponent, I would definitely call sometimes, but as a general rule, I don't want to be in three bet. Even with position, I don't want to be in three bet pots with a hand like that. We do. I mean, if once we call, we have the opportunity to maybe float and force our opponent to bet twice. He might give up on it once he meets resistance, but we don't really want to put ourselves in situations like that too much until we have a firmer grip on the game. So
That's cool. Yeah.
and then when it comes to the top left hand, you open with ace nine, 8-7, and the flop comes queen 6-3. We have three other people in the hand with us. We basically flop nothing but a nut flush draw, and
We get donked into.
get talked into for full pot. So, what are your thoughts? Should we be calling here? Should we be folding? Should we be coming over the top? What's going on in your head?
To be honest, I was like, I'm not really sure because I have the nut flush draw, which I'm happy to get in against this short stack 91-22, but there's two people left behind me to act. So
Do you want to flat here? Do you want to just jam it?
um, I prefer to flat definitely than jamming because flatten's going to fold out other weaker flush draws behind us, and we're only ever going to get it in versus them with like sets and stuff.
Right. So jamming, we're only ever going to get calls from queens, sixes, threes. Stuff that we're doing horrible against right now. I definitely think we can against the short stack we can call here, and by calling we allow the weaker flush draws or the 4-5s and stuff like that to come along, and a chance for us to make some noise happen later on in the hand. So, given the way it's played out, flatting there is not bad.
What do you think about
Now, well, I mean, obviously the short stack is gonna, put the rest of his money in, and we're looking at calling off another. It says at 950 he jammed it to.
760 into
760.
20, which I don't think is good enough, is it?
We know with
One of them
a
has a set. I think that guy definitely has a
one
set.
one of them definitely has to have a set. So
I'd have thought
ag- ag-
the guy to our left has a set like 100%.
against a set, we're not doing very well at all. We have a backdoor straight draw. I mean, we have a six. We can have card, like 5-4 and 5-9 and stuff like that come. We don't have enough equity as it stands to jam it in here that you should go away. If you had just a single pair, if you had a queen in your hand or a three or a six, that would probably push you up high enough to justify a call
Yeah,
here. But with just the naked nut flush draw, it's not. You do not want to commit here for essentially a full 100 big blind stack.
yeah, that's cool. I think I
Assuredly, I
fold.
mean, like I said, I'll be really shocked if one of them doesn't have a set. If not, I mean both of them. One of them, the short stack might have a set, and the other guy, like a combo draw 4-5 with a flush draw, or the short stack has a combo draw. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if you call.
What am I doing checking top set?
What are you doing? Checking shop? Yeah, checking tops in a three bet pot, no less.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Actually, yeah. What? Well, I'm torn here because I want to see what happens on both hands. I want to see what you do with these kings
I'm
now.
sure I fold top left thinking that my odds aren't good enough.
Well, hopefully that's what you did.
Wow.
What are you doing
I don't know.
with? Okay, so pause the tape real quick now.
That's
All
horrible.
right.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
think I
we're
was
in
just
the.
like, um, I didn't even know what I was doing.
Let me see. Okay, so it's a three bet pot,
Yeah,
and
I check call the flop for some reason.
all right. So why would you check call this flop
I have no idea.
against a guy? Let's see, he's running 2013, and before he made that flop bet, he had pretty much a full 100 big blind stack.
Yeah.
So are you just that worried about nine jack and ace jack?
I think probably that's what my thought process was, or I was trying to. Yeah, that's probably what it was, but I don't know.
How often do you
Yeah,
think
that's
he?
so bad.
How often do you think he flops ace jack and nine jack?
Or I was just trying to get him to bet as I didn't see what he was gonna call.
So,
I'm not
so,
really
so,
sure.
so you don't really know what you were doing in
No,
this
I
hand.
can't remember. But it's horrible,
Uh,
and I should definitely just bet the flop.
so looking back at it now, you think you should have come over the top.
No, I should have bet the flop
You should have let out the flop. Okay, and why should you have let out the flop?
just for value. For value
So,
against like, I mean, he's could be probably flat on aces, queens, tens. I don't know what he does with jacks here.
and if he comes over the top of us after we lead out, I mean, then we're put to a decision, but then we can safely know whether or not, okay, what are the odds of him having the straight here made already? What's my equity? What do I want to do from here?
I mean,
And
or if he
another
does
really
come over
good
the
reason.
top,
Well, another really good reason to lead out on that flop in a three bet pot, and it's something that I've said to you, in the past while we've looked, but I don't think I didn't say it on the other video. I don't think.
yeah,
Uh, in Omaha, don't assume that your opponents are gonna bet your hand for you
yeah,
in a race pot. In Omaha, people are much more inclined, especially with position, to take that free card to try and improve their hand. So just because it's a raised pot pre, don't assume people are gonna bet your hand for you. When you flop a nice piece of the board, or like here you flop top set, but it's three to the straight, you don't really know where you stand.
yeah.
So leading out here does wonders for us.
If he jams, what I just want to kind of puke and then
That tight of a player, if he jams, you're behind a lot of the time probably. He can't have queens. He can have tens. You can puke and call. You have the backdoor flush draw, so that adds a little bit of equity. Uh, it's a mistake to get it all in against that player specifically on the flop, but it's not that big of a mistake. So
yeah, right, that's cool.
if we're gonna make mistakes, we definitely would rather make small mistakes versus big mistakes. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And good job. You did fold the ace. And let's see. He had top two against top set.
I think I would have rivered the back door. Oh.
Eh, You would have flush and the straight. Yeah. You just didn't have enough equity given that both of them were gonna
Yeah, I remember
make
thinking at the
correct.
time, yeah.
Yeah, you made the correct move.
Man, I fucking completely horribly played this.
Said looks like you're gonna jam the
Yeah, I
turn.
just think I didn't see any point in,
Well, I mean, yeah, you. I
yeah.
mean, you were either ahead or behind already, so the two of spades doesn't really change anything.
And he folds, which is really weird.
Uh, it's not that weird. I mean, he was trying to put pressure on you, and it was working. I mean, he bet, and you didn't know what to do on that flop, right? You were the one that was out of position
Mm.
on a weird board. So, I mean, that just shows the power of position. He obviously didn't have much. He could have had aces. He could have had queen 10, king 10, something crazy. Um, but it just goes to show you the power of position because you flop top set, quite sure what was going on and whether or not you were good and how you should have played it. So, just something to keep in mind. As bad as it sounds, I would probably just have folded the top middle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's an unsuited kings. We're going to be out of position. It's not worth the hassle.
Okay.
Well, three-handed, I guess, but I mean, still, they're unsuited. Those are really bad kings.
Yeah, they're like probably the worst kings you can get, eh?
Those, yeah, those are pretty much some of the worst kings you can get. Yeah. And then yeah.
Then I'm just like, this board smashes his range, so I'm just check giving up.
I mean, you're out of position. You don't really know what's going on. You don't know what to do, so you're just kind of left in check down mode. So
Don't bet.
your head's up on different tables.
I hope I don't bet this. Oh no, check for you. I thought I was going to pot it. I think, yeah, that's what I was going to bet, see if I can get him off a small flush. But,
But yeah, in a blind versus blind situation, you're never gonna get him off a flush there. I mean, with the pot as small as it is too, it's not gonna cost him a lot to call you down.
this top rundown on top right is probably my misunderstanding of PLO 3-bet pots, because I literally have no experience in them. And I was just thinking that it's like mandatory to call every 3-bet because of the price we're getting. But
What are you talking about? The which hand?
top right,
The
top
top left?
3.
Oh.
I call a 3-bet with that shit rundown.
I would definitely not call. Well, yeah, no, I wouldn't call
Yeah,
there. I
that's
mean,
as I say,
if it's
that's
not suited. Yeah, even if it was like 4, 5, 6, 7, it's still marginal. Uh,
that's
yeah, and
cool. Yeah,
he's gonna see bet and take it down a bunch here. Yeah, he pots it too.
I haven't done anything about 3-bet pots, so it's kind of like meh. 3 pair.
Three of a kind. Yeah. All
Shove.
right, so you're firing a second barrel on top left, which is good. Top pair, open ender,
Yeah. I think I'm
heads
just
up.
gonna
I
go
mean,
3 times there without any hearts, and the heart hits. So.
okay, so pause it real quick. Yeah. He just led into you for.
Yeah, I was so tempted to jam, but I thought not against him.
Is that now? See, I can't tell because it's is that 320 or is that 20 cents?
320. Yeah, pot. It looks like
320.
20.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Uh, yeah. So I mean, you can
Just
never call here. You only have top
yeah.
pair. There's tons of straights and stuff. I thought he was going to check, and I was going to ask you what you thoughts on whether you should check it back or bet, but he
I
made
would
that
have probably
decision.
I would have borrowed any non-heart river.
But all hearts you're going to check.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So limp pot, you flop queen 10. Yeah, you have top pair lead into it. And we're back here to being out of position.
Yeah,
And
just like
yeah, he called. Oh, he called me. Now what do I do? He could have called you with a flush draw, a seven, deuce 10. Position, position, position makes so much. You can't be passive. One thing you really don't want to do, and this is something else that you've heard me say a bunch. Once the betting machine is in motion, once you've decided to bet at a pot, raise it pre, bet on the flop,
yeah,
keep it going until he plays back at you, until you have a reason not to do it.
yeah.
You
I'm definitely like that in position, like, but it's just out of position. I'm a bit more passive, I'd say,
you
and
get
like
you
limp
get you
pot.
get yeah. Yeah, well, you don't get timid. I mean, just play it straightforward.
I think,
I'm interested to see what you do on this
yeah, I
flop.
think this is a spot where I'm like, then I just bet and take it down.
Okay, yeah. So look, that was a situation where we flopped a kind of decent hand, and heads up. I mean, you're ahead on that flop like 80% of the time, 85% of the time. Open ace king jack five on the button. That's not a bad flop for you. Guys playing 22-20. Pretty good stats for 10 PLO player. Okay, why would you check there?
Um, I I don't know, but I think I just didn't want to get check raised off.
Okay, so you're happy with what you have and you don't want to get pushed off your hand.
Yeah, I prefer to take the free card than get check raised off and be in a shit spot. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what can you really be check raising there apart from a 10?
Like, it's just you seem like you're. I mean, and it's understandable, but you just seem like you're kind of lost.
Yeah, I am lost on this hand.
It's a pretty good board for us. I would advocate c betting here, because you can't ask for. I mean, you can hit it harder, but you can't hit it too much harder. You flop top pair, top kicker. You have the nut flush draw. Uh,
And I got to a royal,
you
so
have an absolute maniac on your right. You have a solid player, in the small blind. Um, but yeah, so I mean, I would bet here you can get tons of stuff to call you. Any jack, straight draws, 9 10 or yeah 8 9 queen king 9 queen. Any bear 10 is going to call you. I mean, bear tens could raise. But yeah, I would probably lead out there, because
if
we're ahead
the
here a bunch. You're leading for value. I
if
would bet
the
for
like
value.
say the king jack was suited to the hearts, no, that can't be right. But say like the I don't know, king five was
Say
suited.
like it was king five of hearts, and yeah, and not the ace.
Would you prefer?
I would probably be a little. Yeah, I would probably be more apprehensive then. You could argue, checking back, but with the nut flush draw, top pair, top kicker, gut shot to a straight.
Yeah,
There's just you got so
and
much. I
also
mean, we
now
have.
I'm like, I'm a bit
I mean, that's a horrible turn card for you too.
yeah.
Especially like after checking, nobody's they're well, they're definitely not going to believe you have much of anything at all. And if they've checked twice, they shouldn't have anything at all. So yeah, you definitely have to bet the turn. Because if they're willing to check twice, then they can't have much.
Yeah. Queens, I don't mind folding out of position.
Yep. Queens are a good fold. You would have flopped pretty nice down there in the bottom right.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, but so you had that spot where you raised and it checked twice. They checked the flop and they both checked the turn to you. That's no, I don't care if you have absolutely nothing at all. You bet then.
Yeah.
If they're willing to check you twice, certain things at Hold'em still apply. Where if they're just going to be that passive, that just take it away from them. In a limped pot, if you're on the button in a limped pot and it checks around to you, just go ahead and stab at it. And if one person calls, stab at it again. Because if they checked on the flop, they didn't have much. They didn't have anything or they didn't have much at all. So they're not going to be able to stand up to resistance out of position.
Yeah, right.
is that's another reason why I advocate playing so many hands on the button because you can just you don't even have to have a hand to abuse people. So
Right. I think this is just a standard C bet on
top middle, yeah. Bottom two pair got
fold
shot to a straight.
bet. Maybe a little bit too big.
Yeah, you could probably go like 50 there. Oh. All right, so go ahead and pause it. Yep, there you go. Good job. What are you thinking about what he's done?
Um, fuck my life. Who the fuck is this maniac? Like just raising me. And
Yeah, he's a little bit looser of a player. He 42 27. He has not quite a full stack, pre. We're deep stacked on this. So what do you think he's check raising us with?
no, we're not deep. He's got five. He's got like
Well, yeah, I said yeah. He has a little bit less than a full buy-in, and we're deep. Well, like us specifically. I meant
oh okay.
not with him. Yeah, he started with like $8 pre.
Yeah, yeah,
So what do you think he's check raising you with?
yeah. To be honest, he could be. I don't really know. uh,
Any guesses? You want me to take a stab at it?
well, I mean, he's kind of a retard, so he could probably have. He could,
Do you think we can be ahead here?
yeah. Sometimes, I think
What
he can be.
what could he be doing this with on this board that we're ahead of? Unless it's just a flat attempt at a steal.
Like tens or nines. Tens or
Or
eight.
nine,
Eight, sorry.
nines have
That's
crushed.
a top set.
Okay, so you think he could be doing it with blockers? Like he has, Queen Jack 8-8 in his hand or something.
Yeah, I mean, he's just so. He looks like such a retard with a really.
Do you think okay, so we've described that he's not a very good player. Do you think that a player who's not very good, playing at 10 PLO, is going to check raise you with blockers, knowing that he has blockers
No, I think
and
he
that he
could be
puts
like
you
check raising like pocket jacks here or something, or like ace nine, or um, like nine
Okay,
ten
so
or something. Just something that's not very strong.
out of a scale of 100%, give me a number on how often you think we're good here.
Bottom two with a gut shot, and a
And a
backdoor
back
flush draw. I'd say 60, like 65% maybe, over
You think
half.
we're ahead you think we're ahead here 65% of the time.
Yeah, he's mental. He's like
He's loose, but he's not
he's aggressive. His one went off lot was 49, which is high.
right, but he's not the same as like money 28 that's sitting behind him on the other table. I mean he could be doing this with 9-7, 5-8, 8-10, pocket nines, pocket sevens, pocket sixes.
Yeah, true.
I think you're only ahead here maybe 20 to 25% of the time. I think at this limit, players aren't check raising. If they're check raising, bottom two is probably behind 3/4 of the time.
Okay,
So, I mean, this guy, I mean, he's obviously not that great of a player, but he's not completely brain dead either.
let's see what I
So
do.
let's see. As long as you don't like pot shit. Yeah, there you go. That's good. That's a good fold.
I might just. I don't think I just been. I just can't think straight today. Maybe. I think I watched like a video before the session and was pretty like switched on for PLO. But today I've not studied any PLO or played any. I played one hold'em session earlier, so I'm not really.
Did you open the bottom right from the small blind with that hand?
Yeah, I got three pair, bruh. um, yeah, his folder steal is 100%. So I thought, meh,
Well, yeah.
yeah. I flopped the set.
Luckily,
I don't like my
Definitely,
bets.
definitely with our bad hands, we should just be folding the small blind. The blinds don't mean nearly as much in Omaha as they could in Hold'em.
What do you think of my bet sizing on the turn? Is that just too big, or do you think I should be betting big?
Uh, it's probably a little too big. I
Just bet
mean,
like
there's
one.
draws and stuff. I don't know, like 90 cents is
I mean,
probably what I
king
would have gone
queen
with.
queen nine.
Yeah, I mean, 10 deuce, jack 10, jack
Yeah.
4, 10 deuce, spade draws. Like 90 cents probably is what I would have gone with. The 110's not bad. It's not too big, but 90 cents I'd say. So you opened why
That guy limped. Oh, that
yeah, he limped. You raised the big blind.
did I? No.
You had or he raised the small blind and you called in the big blind. Either way,
No, he's in the small blind. He completed, and I thought my hand was too weak to raise up, so I just checked my option.
you didn't bet on the flop.
Where?
And top middle?
Oh, top middle. Sorry.
Sorry,
Um,
yeah. Oh yeah, I see the 10-10-5-4. Yeah, no, that's fine checking pre.
I raised pre, and he's about to check to me.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you bet that flop though?
I think I do bet it. Oh, I didn't bet it. Sorry.
You didn't bet the flop. No, you checked it behind.
I don't know. I think I should just bet fold. It's not a hard bet fold, so I just should bet fold it. That I was trying to think I was trying to just pot control with like top pair, but I mean there's too many draws. It's terrible.
There's tons of draws,
Terrible,
yeah.
yeah.
And then you fold. Why would you fold?
Yeah.
You're actually I mean you're being quite nitty in this so far. Yeah, so you flop, top pair, top kicker, on a fairly innocuous board, Jack 8 deuce with, two hearts. Uh, Odds are, I mean, he'll have draws to the straight and draws to the hearts, but I would definitely lead out there. And once it goes check, check, and the deuce comes, I would at least call once because you have jacks up. Uh, at least see what the river brings. I mean, I wouldn't come over the top or whatnot, but
Yeah.
I mean, you're good there a good portion because he can be betting with just like king jack, queen jack, 9-10 of hearts, whatever. So, just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's been I think I remember in the video there's like a ton of spots, so I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
So, how long have we been going? 47 minutes.
Oh, longer than I thought. Wow, this is a long video, isn't it? I
Yeah,
can't see this.
I think it's like 45 minutes to an hour.
No, the video that we're watching?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess maybe so. Yeah, okay, yeah, because we paused it a bunch. Okay.
Yeah.
See if we can't find
I mean, we
one or
can make
two.
two parts, I guess, but
Yeah, we can make two parts. See if we can have another spot or two
bet. Thank you.
come up. It's kind of loose-ish
Yeah.
with that queen nine deuce. Yeah. See,
I
at least
think I
you know
just
now.
called because of the two fish in the blinds.
Right.
I mean, like, to be honest, like everyone's a fish. Well, most like 90% of the players.
Most of them, yeah. Most players are going to be pretty iffy and bad.
Hopefully, I just peel one on top in the bottom left, and when he pots it, still probably just peel one. But I think I fold.
I'd be surprised if you didn't fold. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you shouldn't have called pre. Uh, you can argue, floating there because
Have you? I don't
you
know.
have a hand. You have the overpair.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I definitely don't see you doing much of. Is you start play when you're in position. Don't be afraid to float or semi-float.
Yeah.
Like that would have been a semi-float situation. You don't have much, but you have something. So force them to bet at it more than once. We have that position. Let's put it to our advantage. Because people out of position, it gets hard to fire that second barrel, that third barrel. I mean, you said it yourself,
Yeah.
where where you're at a position and you're like, well, I don't really want to have to fire that second barrel or, have to triple barrel and that's purely because somebody called. We have no idea if they had anything, but the float is a very, very powerful tool in Omaha, which is why I greatly advocate playing from the button cutoff so much. Okay, so top right, it was raise pre. There's three of us. It checked around on the flop.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that we're going to bet the turn here.
What's going on?
Still flush draws and other aces that can call us. We have the nuts right now, so when we have the nuts, we want to get money in.
What's going on top left?
What is going on top left? Is that $6 in the pot?
Yeah. Let me just back it up.
Let's back it up just a little bit and see what's going on there.
I think I just intend to fire 3 barrels. Yeah, when he doesn't raise the flop, I just think he has like some kind of flush draw, especially when he doesn't raise the turn, because he definitely raises two pair or a flush draw or a set on the turn.
I don't think he would raise a flush draw. He would only raise a flush draw if he had
Sorry,
some
not a flush draw,
others.
a set or two pair.
Oh, he would definitely probably raise that by the turn, yeah.
So I mean, it's not a great river, but I think I should just bet. I don't know.
I think you have showdown value, and there's kings and queens.
I think
and
I can just get him off a.
You think you can get him to fold 10 jack and flush draws that missed? Is that what you're thinking?
No, I'm thinking I can get him to fold. I don't know. Like a queen and a flush draw or something.
By betting on the river, the best you can hope to have him fold out's a queen.
Yeah. He didn't get folds a king now.
I mean, there's a chance he'll fold a king,
yeah, because it's went to
but given that
was
he
20,
called,
that's what I think.
I think this is a spot where we should check behind because we still have all his draws beat. We're not going to get any more money out of the draws that have missed now. But we're going to get called by kings probably. We're going to get raised by king, queen, by fives, by sets, boats, whatever. So I think this is a spot where we should just check behind and lick our wounds.
I think I fire. Because I think I could easily have a 5 if he doesn't have a 5.
It's a lot of ifs.
Yeah, I could perceivably have a 5.
From a technical standpoint, you can't conceivably have a ton of fives.
Yeah.
I think here what happened is you got him to fold out air. You might have got him to fold out a queen, but you probably got him to fold out air, where it was a busted flush draw or a busted straight draw.
I mean, his went to showdown's really low though. Like 21 is quite low. Well, low. It is definitely low.
Yeah, it's about half what it should be, at least. Yeah, I mean, I understand why you're firing 3 barrels. It's just it's a slippery slope because you're gonna feel great when you get him to fold, and you're gonna feel really bad when they don't.
What the fuck am I doing?
In the top right?
Yes.
I don't know. I was hoping you could tell me. You have now checked all 3 streets, right?
I think I actually just misread my hand.
Well, you can't be doing that. You have the stone cold nuts, and nobody's gonna bet it for you.
Fucking hell, that's embarrassing.
Like, at least bet the river when the flush gets there, hoping that you can get like a flush to call you.
Or just bet every street.
Yeah, at some point. I mean, that goes back. People aren't gonna bet your hand for you. They'll take free cards if they don't have anything, or whatever. I mean,
fucking hell. Just betting thin on the river.
That's kind of thin. The only hand you're worried about is Jack 9, though, so it's not that thin.
I can't believe I checked the stone cold nuts.
3 times.
Wow. Dear me.
That's why That's why we're learning. That's why we're playing at 10
I
PLO. That's
keep doing
why.
that as well. Like I keep misreading my hand, especially when I have like ridiculous two pairs, like Queen Two or something,
Well,
because I'm
I
just
mean,
not
and if
used to
that
playing those sorts of hands.
and if that's a problem, you may want to cut down on the
I
tables.
usually do play four. To be fair, I just thought I'd play six because,
I was a little surprised to see you playing six.
and after
Uh
my database review at Hold'em, I should not be playing six tables of six max.
but yeah, so I mean, maybe limit the table. Like I would probably go like two or three, and then work up slowly. I mean, I know you normally do four.
Yeah,
Uh, but starting out with fewer tables definitely doesn't hurt you
especially.
because especially in a game where there's so much more going on and you're still new to the game, having six tables going at once, you're opening yourself up to making mistakes a
The
lot.
mistakes just like sort of escalate. Yeah, they happen
Yeah.
more
Like
frequently.
like checking the Stone Cold Nuts 3 times.
Oh dear, I want $1.
Yeah.
Jeez, fold. Thank you. That's
So
mad.
let's see if we can find like one more good spot.
Alright, just don't check the nuts. That'd be ideal.
That would be ideal, yeah.
I don't even remember doing that either. Oh dear. Raise. Wow. I could fold. Yeah. The six deuce is just complete trash. I think this is way better for me to just be making decisions by myself and watching my mistakes.
Yeah. This is my favorite method of learning and teaching. Because we have the time, to stop, rewind, go
Yeah.
back, whatever, just discuss and dissect. Um, and I mean, you'll be surprised. I mean, watching yourself make a decision at one point and then now looking back at it, you could have a completely different opinion on the hand. So,
I mean, there's a few spots where I'm just like unsure of, but I obviously was
yeah, and that's
thinking.
gonna happen. I
I
mean,
was thinking
there's gonna be
straight at
some
the
spot.
time.
Yeah, there's gonna be some spots where it just takes repetition to get used to and to get a feel for. But there are some other basic spots where you'll the more you play, as we review, you'll learn what to do in this spot, what to do in that spot, how you should be treating this situation, etc. Um, the biggest thing at this point, and the biggest way to fold quads, by the way, uh, the biggest thing is just learning the fundamentals and getting the fundamentals ingrained, which is why I would. I mean, I know you're a guy that plays a ton of tables. You usually like in Hold'em, you get up to like 8 at times or something, right?
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I really think cutting back on the tables will help you. Like two or three is what I suggest. And it'll give you the time to analyze each hand, to understand what's going on, to read your hand correctly.
Yeah, that might help.
Uh, but I mean, I know it'll be a little bit slow paced, and it may not be quite to your liking to start out with. But I think it's something that'll do you good over time.
Yeah, definitely. Right, that's cool. I'm hoping we can get a hand because it's been like an hour now.
Yeah, I was hoping that we might get a spot here with this Jack 10-9-7. Yep, you're gonna call. Yeah, so we'll use this one. Oh yeah, we even got a good board and everything. All right, so what are we doing here? Let's see what you do. Oh, let's go ahead and see what your
I think I should
flop decision.
donk. No, I'm not sure. Donking, I'm not sure if my draw is strong enough to donk.
Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and pause it real quick then before you actually do make your decision. You think you should donk. Looking back now, you're not sure if you should lead out
I
here.
mean, I have like a what? I don't even
7-9
wrap.
Jack. It's a 13 card wrap.
Yeah, 13 card wrap.
13 card wrap.
Um, I guess that's good enough to go with, is it? Versus no flush draws.
Or, I'm sorry, you have a 16 card wrap.
Yeah, I have a one. Yeah, four. Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a 16 card wrap. Yeah, this I mean, so what do you think? Should you be leading out here? Should going for the
No,
check
I have like
raise?
a 15 card rack because I've got one of the jacks.
Yeah. So what do you think you should be doing here?
Either betting or check raising, either or really. But he's not going to bet because it's four way and that guy's short. The
So you're
button's not
leaning
going to bet
back.
because the money guy's short, so it's going to be he's only going to be betting if he has something.
Okay. So we think that the button is going to check on us a lot of the times, so we should lead out here. And I completely agree that this is a spot where we don't want to let our opponents bet our hand for us because we think there's a good chance he'll check behind here unless he's really strong. And we have a very strong hand, so yeah, we should be leading out here. 120, that's good sizing.
130, yeah.
Or 130, yeah. And now that he calls and
Just
when
stick
we
him in.
turn, yeah, just go ahead and get the rest of it in.
Keep jams with something.
And we're ahead, unless as long as he doesn't boat.
Yeah, yeah, right. I think. Yeah,
And yeah, there you go. So,
that's cool.
yep, our straight's good. Yeah, when you hit the board that hard, you should just go ahead and lead it out.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Yeah.
because I mean, you hit that board pretty hard. You flop top pair and a really big wrap. So just go ahead and lead out. Getting it in there against the set two pair. Uh, we're ahead of a set. We're way ahead of two pair. Well, we're ahead by a good bit.
Yeah.
Uh, so I mean, yeah, we can do no wrong by getting it in on this board because it's monotone. We have the backdoor flush draw, the crazy wrap, the top pair. We are perfectly happy with getting it in on this board. Uh, yeah, so just remember that our opponents aren't always going to bet our hands for us, especially in like big 3 and 4 way pots that we need to do it ourselves sometimes. That's probably a good place to actually stop for the video. Uh,
Yeah.
and then,
That's cool, man.
but before we actually stop the video, are there any sort of questions or
Um,
anything that you're confused about now that we've gone over some hands?
Not really. I think there's just a ton of spots where, like, especially multi-way with kind of like not great draws, but not bad draws. I'm just like, I'm like just a bit unsure what to do really. But it's only going to be time. I mean, it's what I've only played like 4,000 hands at the time of this video, so
Right. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you can't expect to. You can only expect to know so much. And I mean, just the key things to remember, starting out with Omaha, uh, position is everything. And now that you've played, a couple thousand hands, you've come to see that position means everything. It cannot be stressed enough. Anybody that'll talk anything about Omaha will just tell you how important it is from playing from the button and the cutoff. You can get away with playing 80 to 85% of your hands from the button because you're going to have the position. You'll be able to float. You'll just put your opponents in so many bad spots. The converse of that being from the blinds, we don't want to play much at all. We only want to be playing really, really premium hands, stuff like Ace, Ace, Jack 10, King, Queen, Jack 10, stuff like that. Um,
yeah,
Another thing to touch on that we didn't really talk too much about here is the pivot card, which you now know a little bit more about.
yeah. Actually, true.
Uh,
I forgot about that.
yeah, so the pivot card being when we have a hand like King, Queen, 10 9. Let's say we have King, Queen, 10 9 double suited, hearts and diamonds. And the board comes Jack of diamonds, 6 of hearts, 3 of spades. We have absolutely missed that board completely. But we hit our pivot card, which was the Jack. The Jack is our pivot card because it fills our King, Queen, 10 9. And when we hit our pivot card on the flop, we will actually complete a backdoor straight 15% of the time. So that pivot card is highly important, especially when we're in position, because it just opens the door to us for so many other possibilities, and it gives us equity that we didn't know we had. Uh, and the fact that on that same board we hit one heart and one diamond, we have two backdoor flush draws. Each backdoor flush draw is worth 2.5% equity. So on this Jack 6-3 board that we completely bombed, we actually have 20% equity, even though we hit nothing, which is kind of amazing to think about, but something to keep in mind for sure.
Yeah, definitely, man. Is that the same with,
Uh,
say, we have like uh, Jack 10 XX on a 789? Is that the same as that or not? So that just gives us the
well, that gives us the nut straight.
open-ended straight draw. I'm on about. So like Jack 10 on 7-8. Oh, yeah, 789. 7-8X. I meant.
That's not quite the
I'm
same.
tired.
A pivot card is just more where
It
we
just fills our
have a
hand.
rundown. Yeah, where we have like a rundown type hand, but it's not quite a full rundown. Uh, Something like Jack 9 8 7. Our pivot card is the 10 because it completes it.
Right.
But once you start getting into the territory of like Jack 10 blank blank, you have to have at least three cards to a straight in your hand for the pivot card to be valid. Uh, so if we had Jack 10 7, it doesn't really work because we would have to hit the 8 and the 9 to have anything worthwhile there. Just hitting an 8 or a 9 isn't going to give us the equity that we're looking for. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so position, pivot cards, being really tight, not being afraid to
Just bet.
bet our hands. Yeah. Uh,
That's cool.
and yeah, I think that's pretty much all that I had to talk about.
Yeah.
This is
Same.
a pretty yeah, pretty good stopping point for the
Yeah,
video.
man.
We'll do another video and get the last half of this video out. But yeah, so this will end it for me and Jake, and we hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, I'm sure you'll ask them in the comments section or the threads, and be more than happy to answer them. So
Peace.
thanks for watching, and look forward to see you guys in the future.
Also, in before I get ripped for checking the nuts, 3 streets. Peace.
Yeah.